Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar about the early stage financing for creative industries. Before starting, some rules of participation related to this webinar. First of all, by default, all the participants in this webinar will appear in listen-only mode in order to avoid problems such as background noises. If you wish to formulate a question, however, you can just click on the raise hand icon and we will proceed then to open your micro in order to allow you to make this question. You can also use the chat included in this webinar, which is on your left-hand side, and you can send your questions via chat. We will try to answer to all the questions, ideally, preferably at the end of the session. First of all, I would like to give a short presentation about me. My name is Filippo Ponce de Leon, and I work as a consultant in the European Projects Unit at the Knowledge Agents Alliance. Some brief note about my background. I graduated in International Relations at Luis University in Italy, in Rome. And I got a master in focused on European integration at UAB, which is the Autonomous University of Barcelona, Spain. Right now I work as a consultant, as I said, in the European Projects Unit at KIM, and as such I'm involved in all the phases of managing projects. European projects mainly, but international as well, for the CA group and its network of partners and clients. In that sense, I participate in all the phases of a European project, starting from the detection of the opportunities, passing through the consortium building, the management of project proposals, and to the execution of projects. Here you can find my contacts, and you can take a look at that also at the end of this presentation. As I said, I work in KIM, which is part of the Knowledge Agents Alliance. KIM is based in Barcelona. The other entities involved in this Knowledge Agents Alliance, MRI, is based in Madrid, and Knowledge Investors is based in Galicia, another region of Spain. And the main objective of the CAA group is supporting the enterprises, both large and SMEs, but also research and technology organizations, public authorities, in order to improve the return of research and development investments. This is our main mission. Here you can have a look of our services, of our main services. You can have more information at our website that you can find attached here, kaalliance.com. We used to divide our main services with 3 keywords. Think, as related to the innovation sector of our group. Know, as related to activities such as acquisition of technologies. And sell, which means commercialization. Now I'm going to present the main contents of this webinar. This webinar will start with a presentation of the main finance and programs aimed to the creative industries. The second part will deal with the strategies aimed to detect opportunities and to build the synergies in order to submit to prepare project proposals related to creative sector, and finally some suggestions, some general guidelines related to always this project proposal to be submitted. Just a general view of the European and international projects to start. These projects have a percentage of financing which can vary. Normally it's a minimum of 50% until a maximum of 100%. So when it is not covered the full all part of financing, it's required a co-financing capacity to the entity interested in submitting the project proposal. The expenses covered by this funding rate inhering to many fields. We have just highlighted some, like human resources, equipment, and other costs, administrative costs. These projects are projects that foresee international partnerships, so partner entities from different countries. They are pluriannual. Normally the average duration is 2 or 3 years. And the priorities and the objectives of each kind of project or program are defined by the Joint Technical Secretariat if they are decentralized programs, or by a central programming authority, should it be a centralized program. The expenditure must happen during the execution of the project itself, and normally it's foreseen pre-financing, which is first part of the payment at the beginning of the project, and then the payments are distributed all along the project duration. I'm going to present 5 main programs aimed to creative industries. In particular, they are Horizon 2020, Creative Europe, Eurostars, Interreg, and COSME. What is Horizon 2020? Horizon 2020 is the most important, the most famous funding programs in the European Union right now aimed to research and innovation. It's not just the most important, but it's historical because of the amount allocated within this program, which is the biggest ever in the history of the European Union, and it foresees funding of 80 billion euros for the duration of the program, which is 7 years. From 2014, it's just started, until 2020. This is like the official funding, but this program is supposed to attract also other kind of fundings and investments, especially private ones. The main aim of this program is to bring the innovation from the investigation world to the market in order to fill the gap that usually happen in the innovation sector. It's the Horizon 2020 is a program which has been strongly supported by the European Union, by the EU Parliament, and by the national governments, because the priority established with this program has been to have a strong accent, a strong stress on the innovation in order to bring to a growth which is not just an economical growth, but it's a growth which must be sustainable and inclusive. And starting from that, also this program is aimed to create jobs. Some other comment related to Horizon 2020. It is this program comes from it's the successor of 3 previous funding programs, which are the FP7, the CIP, which was more related to SMEs, and EIT initiative, which is the European Institute of Innovation and Technologies initiative. This program has tried to concentrate the effort of the European Union for innovation, and which is also very important. It's this program has tried has been trying to simplify the access to funding for any kind of interested entities. To sum up the objectives of Horizon 2020, we can say that the main objective here is reinforcing the EU's position in the world as for research, development and innovation. How is it done? It is done through trying to meet some decisive challenges which correspond to the main areas of this program, and which are, for example, just to list some, health, security, energy, and the other most important topics and areas of this program. So we tried to select some principles, some main calls which could be more related to the creative industries. In that sense, we selected first of all, this call, the ICT 19-2015, which is titled Technologies for Creative Industries, Social Media and Convergence, which is the main focus of this call for proposal, is the research and development of innovative technologies for properly for the creative industries and also the industry of media, in order to guarantee a convergence among these sectors. We also selected the other two very interesting calls, we think, for creative industries, which are the ICT 37-2014-1, titled Open Disruptive Innovation Scheme, which is, as the same title suggests, is aimed to propose disrupting in the sense of particular innovative solutions and concepts which can apply for SMEs in all sectors, but since they must be particularly innovative solutions, they are particularly adapted for creative industries. The third call we selected as for Horizon 2020 is the HINT 11-2015, which is related to strengthen the European diplomacy as related to cultural and scientific aspects. We think it's particularly important because it allows to this call to have a focus on the international relations of European Union in these specific aspects such as cultural and scientific, in order for European Union to compete with very important and emerging countries such as China and South Korea, just to mention some. The ones just presented are just some examples of Horizon 2020 calls, but if you have a look to this link we are just attaching in this slide, you can find other interesting topics for creative industries or for other fields of interest. In the main screen of the participant portal, which is the virtual platform related to Horizon 2020, you can find this bar, this search bar, when you can type just some keywords in order to find the appropriate calls for proposal that can be of your interest. Also, once you have found some interesting calls, you will find this main presentation of the call, which includes the specific challenge that will be addressed by the project framed within this call for proposal, the scope, including a recommended budget, which is not an obligatory one to meet as amount, but it's strongly suggested to align to the indication of European Union in that sense, the expected impact of the projects, and also the type of action which determines in particular the funding rate foreseen, Normally there is a distinction between for-profit and not-for-profit entities in terms of funding. Then you can also find other general information such as deadlines for submitting proposals and other technical information. We can now start examining another funding program, particularly interesting for creative industries, which is the Creative Europe. The Creative Europe is the most important cultural and creative program for European Union. It is the successor of two programs, European programs, the Culture and the Media one. It foresees right now a budget of 1.46 billion euros, and it supports three essential kinds of initiatives. The cultural ones, such as, for example, the creation of platforms, networking related to culture. The audiovisual initiatives, such as, for example, initiatives related to distribution of the audiovisual products. And a third main axis, which is the cross-sectorial one, which allows to integrate the different dimension of creative and cultural issues. In this link we are touching, you can find not just the opportunity strictly related to Creative Europe, but the European Commission in the Creative Europe webpage tries to regroup all the opportunities, including the ones related to other funding program, which deals with the cultural and creative industry. So it can be a very important reference for creative industry stakeholders. Another program particularly interesting for creative industry is Eurostars. Eurostars is aimed in particular to high innovative SMEs, which aim to elaborate project proposal, transnational project proposal with a strong innovative content. Normally these projects must involve entities from at least 2 Eurostars countries. The list of Eurostars countries, you can find it just in the right side of this slide. As you can see, they are essentially European Union and associated countries, but this program is very interesting because involve some extra European country, in particular South Korea. The total budget of this program amounts to 1.14 billion euro. Just to have some more concrete information about this program, here it is an interesting table with an interesting picture of the average project profile of a Eurostar project. And what is most important, the Eurostars calls open just for some countries each time, which means that every period the Eurostars calls are open to a determined number of countries, so not to each country. And in order to get to know the funding condition, every interested entity must refer to the applicable condition for its country. So the conditions vary depending on the country involved. The Interreg programs are a series of programs which can be related to creative industry, especially if the creative industries involved aim to promote innovation and to maintain the traditional cultural heritage of Europe. It's not just a program. The Interreg programs are many. We can enumerate 66 programs, which are essentially three types. Cross-border ones, which means they involve countries that are close to each other. We can say here, we can see here some examples such as Latvia and Lithuania program, or Spain and Portugal, or other examples of this kind. Then there are the transnational programs, which involves more countries at the same time, more than two, such as, for example, the SUDOE, which involves Spain, Portugal, and France. And finally, there is just one interregional program, which is the Interreg Europe. What we strongly suggest for Interreg programs is to check every time for each different program the eligibility, since the eligibility depends on the regions where the interest entities are established. There is a question. Please. Okay. The question is about the funding rate related to Eurostars program. As I said, it depends on the countries where the interested entities is based. Normally, the funding rate is pretty low. But there is not a fixed percentage. It depends on the countries in which it's based, the entity. Normally, it's about it's about 50%, but it can change according to the countries interested. I can. Sorry, I can't understand. The additionality rule, you mean about the Interreg or the Eurostars itself? Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. The additionality rule is that you normally cannot apply for several funding from several sources, but because these are from different programs, I wanted to know if you have any information about the possibility to apply for one or several of those programs at a time.
You mean the Interreg ones, so?
All of them, you know,
okay.
Horizon 2020, okay. Interreg, etc.,
okay.
etc.
Okay, sorry. Yes, this rule does not apply among different programs. This rule can apply sometimes within the same program. I can remember, for example, some example of that for COSME, which we are going to deal with later. But among different programs, this rule normally does not apply.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Normally Interreg projects have a funding rate which is not as high as for the Horizon 2020. It's normally the 65% of the budget. And it's aimed to especially to public authorities, but also private entities are eligible. but they have to demonstrate to have with their initiatives a strong impact on the development of the territory. The last program I was just mentioning before is the COSME program. COSME is a program especially targeted to the competitiveness of SMEs. This program aims to, in particular, to support the growth of the European SMEs, which, as we know, are the most frequent kind of enterprises in Europe. And it aims to provide support, not just, for example, in the access to finance, but also general support in business issues, support to internationalization, to promote the entrepreneurship, especially of some specific categories, as we are we going to have a look to. The main objectives are facilitating the access to finance for SMEs. As I've already said, supporting the entrepreneurial culture and the entrepreneurial environment, and the internationalization, which is particularly important for and within this program. It's interesting to have a look to the main beneficiaries of this program, which are entrepreneurs, obviously, the SMEs involved, but not just this kind of category, because also citizens are directly involved in this program, especially citizens who wants to start with an autonomous business. And there are some calls especially targeted because of that to young and to women. And also the member states are a target of this program, since they are supported in their policies related to SMEs, to support to SMEs. Here we have a table with a general look, general view to the different actions, to the different objectives. That could be a good reference in terms of budget foreseen for each objective and the description of the action involved. We have selected one call just to as an example of the interesting call of COSME for creative industries. Is this one related to maximizing synergies between tourism, high-end and creative industries. It is aimed to support the development of a European route for some luxury goods with particular targets on perfume, chocolate and jewelry. This call has just closed for 2014, but the COSME program is going to publish new calls for proposals for 2015, and there will be once they will be published, it will be interesting to have a look to new opportunities for creative industries. Okay, we just had a general frame of the funding programs and to creative industries. Now it's time to try to elaborate, try to define some important strategies to detect opportunities and to create synergies in preparing and submitting project proposal. So one first suggestion could be to check regularly the official web pages of the mentioned programs. Some of them also foreseen the possibility to activate an alert in order to be informed once a new call is published. We have said that most of these projects, these mentioned projects, are collaborative, which means that they foresee the collaboration between different entities, so the creation of consortium for submitting this project proposal. In order to find partners for this project proposal, there are two main opportunities. One, very interesting one, is to participate in activities, in events, such as the ones listed here, like brokerage events, info days, other kind of events, organized both at European and national level, and then to also have contacts with the associations, cluster of the sector, and to refer also to national and regional contact points. Apart from that, you can refer to some social media where you can find many opportunities of collaboration. The most important one is, without any doubt, LinkedIn, which foresees many groups related to European projects opportunities, but we listed also other specialistic websites like Idealist, Europa Book, EU Funding. You can find here and just some examples in that sense. In order to resume, to conclude this presentation, I think it could be very interesting to have some precise suggestions for participating in European project proposals. I try to divide in 5 steps in order to have a standardized process, but obviously then it's up to each entity to have its own process. Sorry. The first step is the introductive one, and it's aimed to, first of all, understand the call. It's very important to understand the call because sometimes you can understand just too late that you are not eligible for that particular call, and meanwhile you have you realize that you have spent much of your time preparing a project proposal that you can't finally submit. So it's very important to check the eligibility, and in that sense the main information are the minimum number of partners required, the profile, if it's required to have to participate just for SMEs or also, for example, no-profit entities, this kind of information. Also in the first phase, it's very important to try to imaginate while you are creating your project. It's important to have a certain kind of creativity, which is very close, very linked with the activities of creative industries, but also you should respect what the call for proposal asks for, meeting, we can say, the special characteristics of each call. Very important aspect to take care are also the deadlines. The deadlines which don't relate just to the time, the final time to submit the project proposal, but also the way to do it, if it's just required to submit in a virtual platform or, for example, with a paper-based application. So these are characteristics to have a look to. And as final part of the first step, it's important to consider the funding, so which is the funding rate, and if it's not 100%, if you can get the remaining funds, which kind of funding is, if it's a grant, a loan. And for example, I mentioned here how many projects will be funded, so if it's just one project and there is a strong competition in that, just to analyze if it's realistic to submit this project proposal, and also consider the evaluation criteria, as we can say as we can see more in depth later. The second step is creating an abstract. Creating an abstract means that you have to create something that must attract possible partners. So normally the rule, the suggestion I can give you is to try to concentrate the content in no more than 2 pages in order to list in particular your general vision, the potential, the profile of potential partners, the objectives, just a first list summary of project activities. It doesn't need to be very specific in the first phase, and the first estimation of budget. The third step is considering the evaluation process, as I said before. It means that it's very important to know who is going to evaluate the project proposal, and so to have a look very carefully to the evaluation criteria, and most important, to make the evaluation task easier, which means that it's strongly suggested to use the same terminology used in the call, the same wording, and also to define the concept, the scope of the project proposal in as clear as possible. As fourth step, it's very important also to divide the workload, which means that the division could be both between administrative and technical part of the project proposal, but also among the different administrative issues and among the different technical issues. Once you have divided the workload, you will see that the process of elaborating and then submitting the project proposal will be much easier. It's fundamental also agree on the role of each partner, in the sense that everyone must have its own role and its own responsibilities. Every partner must be informed about what really the project is, and most important of all, obviously there must be a leader, a coordinator, which is in charge of which is the final responsible for the submission of project proposal, and then if the project is approved, he is the leader of the consortium. Then as fifth step, I just put some general indication. These general indications relate especially to not to undervalue the administrative complexity, because there are administrative rules to be followed, not to be undervalued, and well, also that the coordinator must know that his role is very important and must try to lead the consortium through the general objectives of the project proposal. But I think that I can leave as last advice, in my opinion, one of the most important ones, the idea that it's not just to manage the project proposal in all these technical and administrative part, but for the coordinator it's fundamental also to manage the partnership, because you can find in a consortium partners of different type, such as private, public, with the different processes in themselves, and from different countries with all different traditions and habits, work habits. So that's all for me for now, but I'm open to any question. So please, if you have any question, this is the moment. Okay, I don't know if someone has some questions. In any case, this presentation will be sent to you. A link to this presentation will be sent to you tomorrow, together with a survey related to this webinar. So, if yes, for sure. My mail address, you can find it here. It's maybe easier if I show you. It's fpfponsdeleon@kingglobal.com. You can find here all the contacts of me, both the mail and the phone number, and the website of Kim, as I said, I work in Kim. So thank you very much for your attention. Okay, there is a question. Okay. Okay. Okay, I just have, okay. The question is, what is the criteria to evaluate a proposal? Okay, because in the technological field there are patents, and in the creative industries there are no such thing. The criteria to evaluate a proposal are different. They relate to every funding program. Normally, the most important criteria are related to. I mean, I'm referring especially to Horizon 2020, which has a definition, a clear definition of the evaluation criteria. Normally, the most important criteria are the impact of the project proposal. So, try to see how much impact it can have in the project proposal into the EU scenario, because remember that the idea of European Union is that this project proposal does not have to stand just on its own, but they must have an impact of the European society and economy. And the excellence, so how much, how is the added value that this project gives in terms of excellence. Normally, they are the most important criteria, but then it depends also on the kind of focus that the program has. And so if it's a program more related, for example, to the valorization of traditional heritage, there must be some specific criteria related to this area, and so on. So I hope to have answered the question. Okay, so if that's all, thank you very much for your attention. You can contact me at my email address and my phone number, which is in... no, okay, there is another question, okay. Please. Okay, the question is if there is a clear definition of creative industry. Normally, the idea, the definition of the industries to be involved in a project proposal in a specific program depends on on each program on its own. So normally it depends also on the focus you want to give to the program. Normally, in general, as a general idea for European projects, the definitions are not so strict, apart from some specific case, like for example SME, which must have like some data, some quantity data specific. If not, the idea is to be to have a broader range of beneficiaries of the funding programs. So if you are interested in some specific program as a requirement, you can ask about that also via email. I can be more specific, because it depends on the kind of program you are interested in. Okay, so if there aren't any questions more, okay. Thanks everyone for the attention. You will find me available at my email address, on the phone, as you prefer, in order to reply to each questions, each doubt you can have related to this webinar, to the contents of this webinar. And thank you very much again, and good afternoon. Bye.